it's just after 5. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order at 5:03. This meeting is for the Dana building on, it's not the Dana building, I guess it would be the Silver String building, on 9th and Frank. There's been interest expressed in leasing the building. So one of those is my family members, so that takes me out of the equation. So I've decided not to make a decision on it, to leave it up to the council. So, for discussion.
Well, I put that on the email to you guys the other night, and then I realized that three of you wasn't here when we actually discussed that. That would have been the last time.
Yeah.
But anyway, we have discussed this before. We have actually put it on the market twice.
2017, that sound right?
Yep.
That's probably about right.
And, as far as I'm concerned, I just soon see us sell it.
In the past.
We have been leasing that one for, how long you been there?
2008.
Since 2008. And there, you guys are only leasing 11,000 square feet, the east side,
east end of it.
east end of the building. We did have it leased for a year, the warehouse into CNM. Or I guess it was just over a year.
It's, no,
I'd have
It's
said near longer than that.
it's been since 17.
CNM?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't think
it
it was
had-
that long.
You been in there how long?
Since
2008.
08, April 08.
2008.
16 years.
So there's not a problem with just leasing it, are they?
Has to be done differently than we're doing it now, according to Byron.
Everybody got the letter that I sent, correct?
In other words, we still have to give the property to the industrial park board and let them do it, because the city's not supposed to be in the rental business and,
Or selling, really.
or selling, so, yeah. So, in order for us to sell it, it has to go to the industrial park and be done, or if we lease it, it still has to go to the industrial park to be done.
Well, if I understand right, and I may be wrong, so, when we did this before, what we did was we got two different appraisals, and then you took the two between, took the median of the thing, and that was the lowest that you could accept.
When we were
Right.
selling.
Right. But,
And the city can actually do it if they do it the way Mark is saying. But we have to get two people to actually give us a worthy appraisal.
and that's what we did in 2017, we
Mhm.
have those in there. We had, I wanna say Gilstrap was one of them, and Kinzer was another.
Super high and one of them.
One of them
I
was,
don't remember.
one of them was real high and the other one was, fairly close to what we thought it should have been at the time. Now,
That's just in selling though, right?
I would be afraid to guess what it would appraise for now. After seeing all that property that we sold here 3 or 4 weeks ago.
What do you guys, do you feel like staying where you're at, or
We would like to
We
stay
do.
where we're at.
with the lease deal?
Yeah. I believe those two appraisals, one of them was about 70,000 and one of them was about 140,000.
That sounds,
Yeah, 70 and 154,
I mean, I can go
correct?
get them.
Something in
It was
that
quite a-
range.
It was quite a spread,
There was a
looks
large.
like.
And then I think the city put a minimum bid at the higher rate on it and didn't get any interest.
right.
Yeah, we had to come to the middle. I do know that much.
If we decide to keep on leasing, you folks and somebody else there, do we have to go through the industrial board to, or?
That's
do we have
what
to-
Byron put in his letter. Now, I don't know, I haven't looked it up yet, but Byron said it had to be done through the, and I don't know why, but here again, the city's not not allowed to make money off of that. So I think that's why it's happened to go to, it has to go into the 50,
1C3,
Yeah.
industrial park board.
Like I say, I'm gonna discuss a little bit, but I'm gonna abstain from voting because of conflict of interest, but, you know, if we did, some appraisals, prices on
Byron said we still need to get appraisal to get
rental
a
or lease.
lease
to get a proper,
amount.
yeah.
And that was in the last letter we received.
The park board, then they'd have to get an appraisal.
We still have to get
They get
appraisals to
appraisal,
set
and
the lease
then they
price.
could set the lease, so,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't think an appraisal would take too long, if, whichever way we're gonna go, you know, so.
So there's only one interest in the building?
Well, you guys wanna stay where you're at?
There's currently one tenant, but I think
Yeah.
there's more than
One
one
tenant, there's-
interest in the rest of the building.
Yeah, there's, 3 wanting to lease, and then there was a call, somebody saw it in the paper and they're interested in purchasing.
And instead of throwing it out.
Well, my concern would be us having it and then have to start spending a bunch of money on it, maintenance wise.
Yeah, we've not done anything with the building other than a lighting, a small lighting project.
You know, so I
Since-
mean, it's got
Since
some age on it
17.
since it's had anything done to it
How's the
and.
roof?
It's been patched, last time we patched it was early 17, but that was. We worked on it.
If it's formed hard enough, there's a couple spots that leak, but not on a regular basis, and probably,
Pretty good shape.
yeah, and I've not been up there. I know there are penetrations in the roof, though. We refer to them as the pigeon coops. I think they were air handlers or something at one time. But, you know, probably removing some of those penetrations, I suspect would take care of any roof issue for a long time. But no, there hasn't been anything done to it since some electrical work in 17. But it's brought a lot of money into the city for a lot of years,
If we
as far
can't
as lease
lease
goes.
or sell, I mean, what do we do to turn it over to the park board?
The council can turn it over to the industrial park board. And then it goes to the industrial park board, it'll be industrial park board's property. Then would they, industrial park board's property, so they could make a separate decision, or would it still be
Well,
council's?
I would guess that, I would guess that they would do the will of whatever the council would actually do.
That's what I'm
Yeah, I
thinking,
mean,
is they're
that's-
gonna
I
do
don't
the
think that's
will
an
of the
issue.
council.
Yes.
The issue is just, you know, we just wanted to.
Our most recent lease did go through the Board of Public Works.
Correct.
And, you know, it was done that way. And
How much longer is your lease up for?
well, we're on an extension because the renewal was verbal.
Okay, extension every year.
We were told we were waiting on your attorney to redraft it and haven't heard from
Last
him
lease
yet.
of 4 year, runs
Yeah.
out this year.
Also, if I may, talk some dollars, because last time this same conversation came up, it was reported in the Bedford paper that it hadn't generated any income until C&M got there. But if my dates are right on CNM, it's generated $244,000 in rental income for the city to date,
Yeah, we did
since 2008. I'm sure Mark can check that. My
Yeah, you say,
number's
I don't-
not
I don't know
perfect,
right off my head, I'm sorry, but
but it's, I'm pretty sure you'll find it's almost $250,000.
That's just from CNN.
No,
That's
that's from
That's
day
from us,
one.
it's in,
that's,
But in,
since we moved in.
but in the last 5 years, or nearly 5 years, it's been generating $25,200 a year. And I know again, in 17, when this was discussed, that you wanted to, or some suggested that it was important to get the tax income for the city, but what we've checked into is that only is gonna generate $6,000 a year at a couple $100,000 appraisal, and the city doesn't get all that. That's the total tax. So I don't know all the wherewithal about who signs what, whether it's that same board or whatever, but as far as the city benefit, I can't imagine that you're not far better off renting it. If you were to sell it based on that tax base, I also did some numbers that, and I threw out $200,000, and I think that's pie in the sky, but I went big. But in 10 years, it's just about a break even at about $250,000, which way is better to go. At 20 years, renting it's from this date would be just over $500,000, and the sale of the property plus the tax basis would be $284,000. Significantly more by renting it. Now, we're prejudiced because we like being there, okay? And to not be there with short notice would be an unbelievably terrible
It'd be
burden
bad for
for
us.
us. So if you're determined to sell it, and it's my understanding there's somebody who wants to rent it for Lehigh for 18 to 24 months. I don't know how good a rumor that is, but we'd like you to at least consider giving us a long lead time.
I'll give you the time.
Yeah.
Now, I understand it, if whatever we make, whether we sell, or the board, industrial board sells or leases, that money goes into,
the 501c3.
the 50C3, where they have certain limitations what they can use it for, but, I mean, it does come back.
Yes.
if the city sells it, it'll go into the general fund.
Yeah.
If the city sells it, it'll go into the general fund.
Yeah.
But some of the numbers that you just quoted was without maintenance. And like you said, you're gonna put a roof on, I don't know what a roof would cost on that building.
You know, there'd be $250,000
Yeah,
real
so-
quick.
That's just, something to think about there.
An awful lot of something happened to that roof before you need to.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
The leaks are at the pigeon
Yeah.
coops, and
And the pigeon.
it's a hard wind from the right direction blowing rain in those.
Did you say 240,000 since 2008?
244,000.
We can confirm that number.
Unless you
Okay,
just,
we got CNM in there.
No.
Just Silver Street.
Oh, Silver Street, yeah, that's right.
No, that's total, not
Yeah,
just.
no, he was just
he was
asking.
in
Oh,
the building
okay, I'm
permit.
sorry.
Who was in there now, it's just you guys,
Yeah.
leasing now.
So the new lease would be for the whole building, or do they get to stay?
It was-
Clarify that.
I would,
There's approximately
I think we
22,000
should
square
do that.
feet left
Yes, I do.
Correct.
to me,
that people are
to not
wanting
push
to
it out on the
lease.
street.
No, that wouldn't be right. If we're gonna lease it, they get a stay.
I don't know if you decide to, of course, we gotta turn it over to the 501c3, right? If you, stay a little bit neutral,
Mhm.
but,
Well, if you
Try to educate me, say, we turn it over to the board, and they lease it to a business, it's not in the 501(c) or whatever that is, how does that pay in that? If
It's,
they're working for a profit.
it would be the 501(c)(3), the park boards,
The industrial, yeah.
they have possession of that property, as I understand.
Okay.
And then they would carry
It'll
on
just be
that
the building.
and the building, and then they would get the funds. And like I say, I think there's some regulations on that.
There are, it can be used for beautification projects for the city, it can be used all the way to scholarship money for students.
Education stuff too, so.
Mhm.
How much of the building does Lehigh want?
22,000 square
Joey?
feet.
22,000, we can use a 22,000 square foot for our parks.
What's the whole size of it?
33,000, they have 11,000.
So you're,
Mr.
basically, they'd be renting the rest of it.
Yeah.
But the other, before Warren speaks, the other issue is there's, Warren, the regeneration stores bales of clothes in there. And, then the Kiwanis stores their ice cream machine in
Yeah.
there.
And how about area you talking about?
We're currently using the two, I call them the sheds, in about the loading dock. And as you go into talking with people, we certainly would, we have been very thankful that we've been able to use that space rent-free. However, we have discussed this as a board, if something changed and we need to rent that space, we certainly don't want to be freeloaders in the city. And would be, like to be part of the conversation, because that certainly is a better, much better situation than using the little shed on the north side, where the door is about to fall off. But certainly as we consider the dollars side of it, if you lease the space and we need to be paying rent, where, we would be willing to do that. Thank you.
The space that Kiwanis occupies is a bump out
It's just.
that is a little cubby hole.
Freezer box
And,
area.
yeah,
Well, on their freezer inside.
well, in their freezer,
They got a little freezer
which
there, so-
honestly could be moved over on to our space.
It could be
It
moved
was at
somewhere.
one time, and I don't know why they wanted to move it, but they did.
You've already looked at the building, Joey?
I haven't been inside, we've driven around it, and we've seen the dock and the drive-in, so it's something that would be useful for our needs. But no, I have not been inside the building yet.
Gentleman back behind there, you got any discussion or anything? Just listening? No.
So, if regeneration stays where they're at, and we keep the Kiwanis stuff in there, how much of that 22,000 is gonna be left for Lehigh? Is that gonna substantially knock it down?
Oh,
It's still over 20,000.
yeah, that's,
There's probably not even, 1,500 square feet that regeneration uses?
There's the two sheds that are approximately, one of them about 12 and one about 15 wide, running about, what is it, 30, 40 deep?
it's
Maybe 30.
like two semi-trailers
Yeah.
is the space. It's, there's still more than 20,000 square feet remaining even after regeneration in the Kiwanis.
Lehigh, this is a temporary lease, would be a temporary
That is
lease for
correct.
you. Is this connected with the project that's
That is
going on?
correct, it's part of it, we have approximately $13 to $17 million of spare parts coming in that are part of the K4 project. And for us to decipher them and keep them segregated from our current inventory is what we're trying to do at this point. And then once we start establishing the new warehouse and we're able to start uploading that information and identifying them, then we'd start slowly transitioning them to the new warehouse once the K4 is commissioned.
Okay.
So we will-
But if you had the west end, then loading
docks there would be a benefit to you.
Absolutely.
Here's my thought, you know, and this just, I think we need to be a good Samaritan to everybody that's concerned here. Lehigh, it's a heck of a project going on out there. I think we ought to do what we can to help. That's a tough project for them, 18 months.
We're looking 12 to 18. I don't think it'd go much farther than that, but at this point, that's what we're looking at right now, 12 to 18 months.
I think we ought to try and work it out to where everybody stays where they're at now. And then, for the fact that Silver Stream's been there since 2008.
That's right.
You know, and I don't ever remember having to call them up and ask them for a check.
I don't think we ever have. Yeah.
I think we ought to try and accommodate everybody here.
You know, council decides to sell later on, then give you guys plenty of time to look somewhere else or part of that, you know, so.
We need to find space, and moving is significant. We've got large machines in there.
Wouldn't be easy.
No, and it'd be a big disruption to production for us. It's a big deal to shut down your business and move.
You know, we aren't just warehousing, we're manufacturing.
Manufacturing it. Go ahead, George.
Well, I think we ought to just, since Lehigh's thinking maybe up to 18 months, I think we ought to make a commitment to keep that. Next 18 months minimum. They know where that line in the sand's been drawn, and, you know, 12 months from now or so, we can come back in and reevaluate and see what's going on. And, not in a big lurch right now.
Now,
We can't do that, right? So we can maybe suggest to the board.
We can suggest that.
they have to take, fees. C3 board would set that and then do the negotiation, correct? Got more than two people.
With the new,
Yeah.
with new tenants.
Yeah. With the new area.
Yep.
Because Silverstream should stay there.
So you're still looking at a little over 20,000 square feet.
I agree with George, I think he nailed it. You wanna kick anybody out that's in the city, you know? For other people too, so.
Let's do a little research and hopefully I can bring it back Monday when you have your regular meeting.
Yes.
And we can have it all.
Finalize it.
Yeah,
Yes.
we can have all the i's dotted and the t's crossed, so that we don't make any decision that we have to undo or redo.
Kind of shooting in the dark here.
Well, we know some things, but I don't know, you know, totally. And so-
Once we decide to do it, we wanna be sure it's done
Right.
correctly, and we don't have to
Yeah,
come back and rehash.
yeah, the mayor and I will meet with Byron soon and see. I mean, I don't wanna suggest what you do, but that would give us a couple of days to make sure we're doing what we need to do.
Think about it.
Yeah, and, I mean, you know, if we have to send it out to them, then that's fine, but if we can keep it within the city, then we wanna do, obviously do that, that would be
Yes.
the best way. The only well. I just don't know all the details of that, but we'll find out and see what they want to do, and come back and have some, I'll send you guys something, and then we'll, if that's okay with you, let's discuss it then.
It's good to look into it and see.
And I think that'll give us an opportunity here in the next couple of days, maybe we can get inside and take a walkthrough, just to make sure we confirm that it is gonna be something that we'll be able to use. From what I understand, and I hear, yes, it will be fine, but it'd be kinda nice to get the right people in there to walk around and just look through it.
So what's your time frame on?
Now, I'd say yesterday, but that's what we use at the plant, so it'd be now. Yeah, we have parts coming in now, and yeah, so we're holding our own right now, but within the next 4 to 6 weeks, we've got a lot more coming in.
Well, we can determine if we need to get, appraisals, what kind of appraisals we need to get, if we have to get both, or if we just do the one. And if they can, the other question I would have is, since we did those things in 2017, if we can somehow go off of those things and make it a little less expensive, because they've done the, you know, they did the title work, they did the investigation, they did the pictures, and they might be able to just to say, okay, we can just go off of those and make them a little different. And I don't know if the board wants to suggest somebody to but
Well, again, I think we need to see exactly what Byron says,
yeah.
because getting one is really no problem, but when you have to have two in a certain amount of time, it makes it a little
Way
bit
out.
difficult.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll be able to get,
Yeah.
hopefully, we will have some answers. I don't know if we'll have them all, but we'll have some answers at least by now.
That good with you guys? I mean, that's about as good as explaining we do and digging into, so.
And if it is leased to Lehigh, Silver Spring has to have the center aisle open to load and unload trucks.
Yeah.
Just heads up. And they do have access to the dock around back also.
I'm happy to walk through that stuff with you, shout,
Great.
Yeah, and
or come over.
Yes, absolutely.
we unlock about
Yeah.
by 6 in the morning and 4 till 4 in the afternoon. Come anytime.
Thanks a
So
lot.
hypothetically, if we discuss this Monday, and all of that says we can't do it, we'll make a motion to vote, give it to the board, and they'll have to be instructed if they have more than one leasee, they'll have to,
Do a bid or whatever.
yeah, weigh it out and do it right.
Again, I can almost guarantee you that that group will of the council.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think they
Yeah,
would.
I don't know
They-
why.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't see them not going with what the council wants.
I won't vote opposite the council. Let me put it that way.
Nor will I.
And nor will he, see, so that, you're well on your way.
But that doesn't determine there are 3 other people.
Right.
Hope that satisfies most of your questions right now, so, and, that'll be Monday when we meet, so, a few days, so
So we're just table
hopefully that's
this.
good.
Tabled until Monday night,
Mhm.
April 4th,
Great.
7 p.m.
So we need a motion to
Seven.
adjourn if nobody's.
All we need is a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
I'll even
Aye.
vote.